Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to wrap up today with a special selection, which is where one of you tell me exactly what it is I need to check out. Today it comes at us from Jeremy. Hi, Bryan. I've enjoyed your videos and analysis for a long time, and I'm happy that I'm finally able to submit one of my own. It is off of my debut EP, and I think it gives a good feeling for the project as a whole. Inspirations include lo-fi, glitch, industrial, black gaze, and ambient music. Hope you enjoy. So I am looking forward to this. I always love checking out smaller artists' music. Let's dive in then. See what's going on with the band Aubadoir. Well, I suppose it's an artist, isn't it? Anyways, the artist's name is Aubadoir. The song is The Othercide. I have a fairly slow start here. We are building into something though.
Electric power is everywhere present in unlimited quantity. It can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other fuel. This new power for the driving of the world's machinery will be derived from the energy which operates the universe, the cosmic energy.
Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much, feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness, gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and children. Victims of a system that makes
That
them
is a
torture
low
and
tone.
imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed. The bitterness of men fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die. And the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men, with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate.
A little bit of a beat switch up. Interesting loungy cyberpunk. Oh, it's gone now. Who's over there on the left?
To make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us
the melody here. Harmonizing it now, pulling out, yeah, some of the textures being removed. An ending or an ending? Yeah, that was the only way I could have seen that going. Either an ending or getting ready for a really big drop. Interesting project. This song, is this, I'm gonna have to look this up. When we're done with this, I'm gonna go look for lyrics and see what I can figure out what's going on with the vocal, well, the spoken word. But to me, it almost seems as if we have this speech going on. The delivery, the cadence, the rising escalation in the tension of the vocals feels like a speech. One supposed to drive energy and camaraderie and I suppose a dedication to the goal at hand. The music that sits around that is interesting because it exists twofold. On the one hand, we do have, for the first 3 minutes or so, maybe 4 minutes, we have something that does feel like escalating energy. It starts out incredibly slow and grows over time. More layers, more sounds, more intensity to the harmonic ideas. A lot of it does come off as very atmospheric and textural, though. And I think this is pretty cool because it creates something that feels very cinematic against the spoken word portion. And it does feel like it elevates and escalates the feelings that, well, at least the drive elements of the speech. We're supposed to be, or I feel like it's supposed to inspire people, and I do feel a general inspiration in the musical component. It's not the only part, though. There's also a darkness to a lot of this. I think we start off that way, but just generally the synthy industrial sound throughout a lot of this track ends up just feeling darker to me by correlation. A lot of industrial music tends to incorporate, despite the brightness of the tones of the sounds that are typically used in industrial music, I find that the music itself frequently contrasts that by being a bit darker and heavier and gloomier. And I think this does a pretty good job of crafting something that from the start feels rather dim. And it finds a way to grow out of that. Not by the use of different instruments, but by simply exploring emotional ideas that help take that darkness and elevate it before it can push through it. And the pushing through it actually comes in at the very end. We have this cool melody that comes in the final minute. And at first I thought this felt out of place, and it does. It's very distinct from the harmonic qualities of this song, but what it does do is highlight a portion of what is being said. I can't say I picked up on all of the spoken word, but towards the beginning, when there were less things going on, I could put more thought and attention towards it. And there was a general concept of unity. It talked about how the radio allowed us to transmit our voices to a larger amount of people. Planes allowed us to go to new places and meet more people, to see more of the world. That these technologies, and I think it said something about technologies that would come afterwards, are shrinking the world. It's allowing us to find that our neighbors are closer to us than ever before, even if that neighbor is halfway across the world. There is, despite whatever needs, usually when you need to inspire groups of people, it's not usually for the best of times. It's in the worst of times that we're fighting to return back to good times. But there is hope, positivity, unity, connection. These are general themes in at least the beginning of the speech. I find it really interesting that the song, the music, doesn't really push in that direction until the very end. As the vocals are wrapping up, or as the spoken word is wrapping up, we begin to get this melody. It kind of has some brightness, a light at the end of the tunnel. And it starts out simple and short and eventually expands into a larger idea that plays around with motif variation. There is a core concept. It's the thing that gets repeated when it first gets introduced, but eventually we begin to see an expansion of these ideas. What if this part got added? What if that were removed and we put in these notes in there, capturing the same mood, but with different movement? Maybe we're getting ready to rise up rather than stay where we were. And it's all these little changes to it over time that make it feel alive, that make it feel like it's pushing towards something rather than being a loop stuck in a cycle. And I think that plays into this too. Again, I need to go read what the lyrics are, but to me, I'm assuming that this is something to inspire people to rise up and take control, to fight for tomorrow, whatever they're fighting against. This idea of dark times now and a hopeful future, I think, is presented really well in the song. Now, the last thing that I'm going to bring up here is general production. There are a lot of instruments and timbres in here, and I think that despite the variety of sounds we get on this, they're all working together really well. From a sonic perspective, everything tends to fit. There is a mix of electronic sounds. There's some synthesizers in here for pads and melodies. There are a couple of what sounds like acoustic instruments, or maybe acoustic instruments with a bit of effects on them. We have the natural spoken word in here at the center of the track. Everything works despite the variety. And it's interesting because I can't quite place where the song fits genre-wise, or even, I don't know, any larger way of compartmentalizing the sonic identity here. It's a little mishmash of a lot of things that shouldn't really work together, but honestly do. The end product, maybe it is just a certain production put on everything to help glue it all together, but it ends up working really well. And actually, I'd say more so if this is a sample. I think that's an even cooler idea of building all of this to fit alongside that. It all feels like it naturally works together, including the spoken word part. So if this does come from, a radio play or a film or a TV show or something, and then they built this around it, it fits, it matches. Everything feels like it's designed to be played together despite the plethora of sources and timbres and ideas going on in here. So production standpoint, excellent. Composition, excellent. Execution of idea, excellent. This is really well done. I'm going to see if I can find some lyrics on this, and then we're going to wrap this one up. All right. There's actually two one might just be a comment of sorts. The other, though, is a speech. The first comes from Tesla. It says, electric power is everywhere, present in unlimited quantities. It can drive the world's machinery without the need of coal, oil, gas, or any other fuel. This new power for the driving of the world's machinery will be derived from the energy which operates the universe, the cosmic energy. So we have this idea of channeling something that is larger than anything else. It's almost an innate element of this world. We shift here into a speech from a Charlie Chaplin film called The Great Dictator. And it is a speech about joining together with other people in order to knock down any and all walls to freedom for everyone. Interestingly, it doesn't start at the beginning of the speech as it appears in the movie. It starts in the middle and at a specific word. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. It begins on the concept of machinery, much as the Tesla quotes were talking about machinery and using it to drive, well, using energy to drive this machinery, and that engine is this cosmic energy. What we have here is sort of what I touched on earlier, talking about how airplanes and radios had sort of shrunk the world down. This is a call to arms. It says that everybody who has a low quality of life right now, don't give in to the fear and the despair. This is just the passing of greed. Greed, which has taken over too many people's lives and has put too many people's lives at stake. It is a call to arms to fight in the name of democracy, to take down all dictators as the quote states, dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed and hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite. There's a lot more in that speech, but I think that final paragraph really highlights everything that it's going on about. And I think this is interesting. The push for reason, science, progress, and fighting intolerance and hatred and greed, using humans as an energy to drive the machinery of change, which does tie into Tesla's, but also the idea of science and progress. I don't know how true it is, but I vaguely remember, let me just look this up real quick. I want to be accurate in what I'm about to say. Yeah, I'm glad I looked that up. I was going to go on about how Tesla's inventions never got fully realized due to corporate greed, but it seems that some of that kind of veers off into the realm of mythology around Tesla, not so much fact. So, glad I stopped myself there. All right, then. I think the music does a great job of showcasing this rising energy, rising tension, this feeling of connectivity, and so many ideas coming together to form something larger, which wasn't something that I necessarily talked about in the analysis segment, but is certainly a component of this song. I was right on the cusp of going into that direction, talking about how this song has so many different components to it and different types of instrumentation, and yet it still comes together in a cohesive whole. Much like this speech here, asking everyone to work together regardless of who you are, so that we can do away with those who would attempt to separate and divide and conquer us. Yeah, I think the atmosphere of this song does a great job of capturing what's going on in these samples here, on the spoken word samples, and embellishing on it and really pulling those emotional components out of it. So those are my thoughts on Aubadoir's The Othercide. Let me know what you thought of this. If there's anything that you'd like to add to what I said, did you enjoy it? Do you have a correction of something I said that you'd like to make sure that I don't repeat it in the future? Do you have your own interpretation of this track? Please put all of that and anything else you'd like to add into the comments below. Above that, in the description box, you'll find a link to Linktree. Takes you here. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all three of those. All right, that wraps it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, though, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, with the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.